Good morning, students. Today's topic is voice communication and analog waveform. As you know that communication means the exchange of information in between two entities, that is human or machine. Similarly, when we communicate with each other, we are using or exchanging of information in between either two or multiple terminals or entity or computers. Generally, people can communicate with each other through speaking or writing. When we speak certain information or certain data between more than one people or person, we are using voice. Data is propagated from one point to another point by means of electrical signals, which may be in form of analog or digital. In analog signal, the transmitter power varies over a continuous range. For example, sound, light, or radio wave. Basically, a network analysis must be qualified to design networks that are capable of carrying voices as well as data. Most of the systems are completely based on voice as well as data. Before designing these type of networks, it is essential for the network analysis or network designer to understand the nature of voice signals as well as how the voice signals can be processed and integrated into an interconnected network with data transmission. In the previous sections, we learn about different communication mediums, data transmission, like how the data is transmitted or transferred from one system to another system over a medium in the network. So, most of the network designers or analysts to design its network on the basis of different signals. The signal may be analog or digital. Most of computer can support digital transmission or digital signal. So there are certain mediums are required to convert one signal with another signal. For example, the modern telephone system is commonly known as PSTN, that is public switched telephone network, where a voice conversion consists of sound waves that are of varying frequency and amplitude and are represented as a continuous varying analog waveform. So, the voice signals are normally convert or transmit from source to destination. In this section, I am speaking certain thing that is basically called the voice waves, and it may be fluctuate, that is maybe some part is increased or some part is decreased while listening certain contents over a medium. Voice communication networks have traditionally been designed to provide either analog signal path or fixed rate synchronization or synchronous digital connections between individual subscribers while watching TV or speaking to another person or other person over a telecommunication network. We are widely implementing with analog and as well as digital signals. These designs were aimed to accommodate the stream-like characters of speech. Simple example, when we write a sentence, every individual sentence having certain words and every individual word must consisting of certain character to form a word. By the help of certain grammar or vocabulary, we create a sentence for readable or some audible. The stream-like character of speech, which has traditionally been considered to flow from source to destination at a more or less constant rate. Basically, when a person speaks with another person, the pitch of the voice may be decreased or increased sometimes. So, while communicating data from source to destination, the stream-like character of speech or stream-like or the stream is nothing, it is the flow of characters, normally not constant over a network. Simply, when we speak with other person or normally while singing certain songs, every individual song having a high pitch note and as well as low pitch note through which we can actually communicate. Voice communication had traditionally been a very simple medium to intercept and monitor. So every individual voice should be recorded in a proper manner that should be properly monitored. Most voice communication systems are not designed to ensure the privacy of the conversion of them. So maximum number of voice communication system is completely not based on the privacy or the data privacy while converting on them. In internet, a communication network offers people the ability to communicate with anyone, anywhere. So there are different type of file systems or there are different type of signals over a network, over a channel, which can be communicated from one end to another end. When we speak or speak with other person, if the person makes a distance, the voice or the sound wave comparatively decrease while traveling on the air. The next one is called, what do you mean by waveform? Waveform is nothing, is a commonly used phrase to describe graphical representation of a signal as a plot of amplitude versus time, that is the shape of a wave. Basically, it resulting the image or graph in a visual representation that indicates the change over time in recording. It is an image that represents an audio signal or recording. It shows the changes in amplitude over a certain amount of time. Basically, the amplitude of a signal is measured on axis, that is y-axis vertically, while time is measured on the x-axis, that is horizontal. Basically, it is a graphical representation or graphical representations mode. Data is propagated from one point to another point by the means of electrical signals, which may be in form of analog or digital, as I said earlier. In analog signal, the transmitted power varies over a continuous range. Basically, the voice or the analog signal fluctuate time to time, either it may be increase or decrease while traveling over a medium. Based on the digital and analog signals, the message can be propagated in form of 4 ways. The number one, the conversion technique between analog to analog. The second one is called analog to digital transmission technique. And the third one is called digital to analog transmission technique. And the last one is called digital to digital transmission technique. There are different equipments or components which can be or which are implemented for transmitting the technique of these two signals, analog to analog or analog to digital or vice versa or digital to digital. This is the simple graph or the simply picture presentation of voice communication and analog waveform. There are two subsequent particularly axis levels. The number one is basically the Y and Y1. This is vertical and this is horizontal. And every individual waveforms or voice forms are normally start from 0, and after that it is in a peak mode, and after that it is fall down, and this is basically called the plus voltage, that is pulse, and this is normally called the minus voltage, that is the negative voltage, and it is basically 0 to 90 and this is 0 to minus 9. Voice communication generates a waveform which propagated through the air or through the space. Voice communication are physical energy when one speaks swing waves, waveforms of high and low air pressure. Simply, in this current video, there are certain voice from my side having in high volume and certain part is low volume, because the voice is traveled or recorded in the subsequent video based on the air or the wave. These waveforms are basically called as analog waveforms. One cannot see the waveform or the analog waveform in the air because the voice transfer are in a pressure reverse, because it is basically called the invisible part, while it can communicate with the voice or analog waveform. Simply example of this The telephone handset translate the frequency, that is the frequency rate or the frequency swing of air, to electrical energy, that is plus and minus, similar waveforms, characteristics. Means it may be sometime it may be plus. In this case, this is in plus mode and this is in minus form. The waveform exists or having three primary characteristics. They are frequency, amplitude, and phase. So basically, the amplitude of the signal is measurement in relation of its voltage, that is plus or minus, that is positive voltage or negative voltage, which can be 0 or positive, that is plus VE, or minus VE, or negative. Analog aspects of the signal, it gradually increase in plus voltage that traverse the 0 volt to the negative volt and return to the 0 again. It means while a waveform is transferred from one end to another end, the first of all it is 0, that is the voltage or the particularly amplitude is 0, and after that it normally begins its rise, that is the increased order. This is in the A, and after that it can fall down and again it returns to 0 again. Similarly, the C is also there, that is again it fall down and that is 0 to minus, and after that again is increased to 0. So this is basically called the waveform in positive volt or negative volt or 0 volt. The distance in between axis level to the top of the plus volt or the distance in between the axis level in the depth of minus volt is known as amplitude. So basically the A that is there, this is called A. A stands for amplitude, and this is the distance between the plus 2, that is 0 to plus volt, and again it having another A, that is again amplitude, it is having also minus to 0 volt, that is this is basically called 0 to positive, and after that it can fall down again to 0, and this is again 0 to negative and again returns to the subsequent 0 volt. The total number of complete cycle, that is this is one cycle, this is cycle 1 and this is cycle 2, because this is actually peak or increase and fall down, that is decrease, again it having the 0 volt, again it increase. So this particular section is related with one cycle. The total number of complete cycle will be generated in 1 second is known as frequency. So the frequency is nothing the time period to which the signal can be flow in over a medium. It is denoted or it is defined as small f and measured in terms of hertz, that is either megahertz, kilohertz or gigahertz, that's basically hertz, or cycle per second. The third characteristics of an analog signal is called phase, and phase is nothing, it is a certain time period, that's why it is called phase. As per the above diagram or as per this particular diagram, the entire cycle treated as 360 degree. The first one of the phase is, that is 0 degree and is called as 90 degree of the cycle. So that is basically 0 to 90 degree of the cycle, that is A, amplitude. There are certain particularly points there, that is A, and this is B, and this is C, D followed by E, F, and so on. The second phase, that is A to B, here in the diagram, that is A to B, is called as 180-degree cycle or 180-degree cycle range. The third phase, that is B to C, again it is fall down, it is in 0 to negative, that is B to C. This particularly part, B to C, is 270-degree of the cycle. And the last phase, that is C to D, again it having the C to D, this is C to D, having 360-degree or 0 degree of the cycle. It is called as the 0 degree of the cycle because it is indicate about the beginning of the next cycle, because the cycle ends, so starting from 0 to 90, then followed by 270 and followed by 360 and completed here. So that's why there are certain particularly like signals there, that is A to B, B to C, and C to D. Again it having similarly, that is D to E, D to F, F to G, and so on. While two persons are communicate with each other with the help of a common communication device, basically that is called telephone or walkie-talkie, then in this situation, the voice signal is converted into the analog signal and transmitted to a telephone cable or telephone line as waveform. So this type of communication is known as voice communication and analog waveform.